Hey, I want to ask you a question and I want you to be honest. And I'm serious, right in the comments right now. I want you to answer the question. Have you lied to someone today? It's okay. You probably have. I probably have. In fact, experts who study lying behavior say that the vast majority of us, on average, lie about twice a day, which sounds like a lot, right? Because most of us don't think of ourselves as liars, but that's a pretty high count, if you ask me. Um, Welcome, Jesse. Welcome, Dr. Elo and Karen also. Thank you guys for chiming in today. So what do you think? This happens a lot. This happens a lot even without us being maybe even conscious of it. It happens, or maybe it's such a normal, frequent behavior that we don't think too much of it, which means even if we knew we were lying in the moment, it didn't register enough for us to remember, yes, I definitely lied today. Honestly, for myself, I can't tell you. I honestly don't know whether or not I've lied today. But I generally think of myself as a fairly honest person. I don't like lying. But also, I would trust the experts. But yeah, it is normal. That's okay to know. That we're human and apparently we're all liars. In fact, lying may be part of what makes us human, according to some people. But don't worry, this is not going to be a chat about morals, about whether lying is right or wrong. We're not going to get into what about white lies and all of that stuff. We're not talking about right and wrong. And actually, I did call this video "Don't Lie to Dogs," but I don't even mean it in a I'm telling you what to do or what not to do sort of sense. I just mainly want you to know, one, that lying to dogs, it's a thing that happens, and two, what happens when we do. And three, maybe some other fun facts, because lying is actually pretty fascinating once you start reading about what we've learned about it. Karen says, no, I haven't, but I have on occasions. Yeah, I can definitely say I have lied in the past for sure. That I can say with confidence. Today, I don't know. So yeah, let me introduce myself for anybody who doesn't know me already. My name is Jennifer Malloway. I'm a dog trainer and behavior consultant. My job is to help you have a more magical relationship with your dog. And stick around because chances are you have lied to your dog and you might want to find out what happens. So let's dig in. Let's start with really defining what lying is, because there's not always agreement about this, surprisingly or not. Particularly pedantic people might say, well, a lie is a false statement, which requires verbal communication to meet the requirements for a lie. That puts all the focus on the words themselves. I don't like this definition because this is the type of thing that a boyfriend will say, oh, well, I didn't really lie to you because I said blah, 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 blah. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to pick on boys. It's just that's the situation I found myself in. But we all know that you can say literally with your words one thing and also reasonably expect the person you're talking to understand the opposite meaning. We do this all the time and it's normal and it's fine. Sarcasm is one example. So say if I were to say in this way, in this tone, if I were to say, yeah, this pineapple pizza is so delicious. I'm saying it is delicious, but I am expecting you to understand that I mean it's disgusting, right? So we can Yes, Savage Coffee and Tea. I did call out Impartial Geek. I'm only joking though, because I actually do enjoy pineapple and pizza. It's fine. I'm not getting myself in trouble here. Jesse says, I have. Jesse, do you mean you have lied today? Want to tell us about it? No, you don't have to. You don't have to blow your cover or anything. I just, but yeah. CK, yay, it's Friday doggo time. Question of the day is, have you lied today? So yeah, so anyway, so if I said something like that, like my words say one thing, but I expect that you're going to understand that I mean something opposite. That's not a lie, even though it met the criteria of that first definition, like a literally false statement. So I don't like that definition. But also, another reason that definition is not very good is because depending on who you ask, anywhere from 70 to 93% of all communication is nonverbal, which leaves 7 to 30%, a relatively very small percentage of communication, is actually what we say with our words. CK says, I don't think so. Oh, Jesse, not today. Yeah, okay. So, CK says, I live alone, so the only person I'd be lying to would be myself. But hey, I don't know, maybe that counts too. I wonder. So when they come up with these statistics, like, so the question came about because they say that most people lie on average twice a day. I wonder if they count lying to ourselves. Like, they probably don't, but that would only increase the number, right? Anyway, I digress. So a large, huge percentage of communication is nonverbal, and we are absolutely capable of lying, deceiving, with our nonverbal communication. Now, with dogs, 100% of their communication is nonverbal. They do not speak. They do not have language. So, yeah, everything that they are, all the signals, all the communication that they are sending and receiving, it is through nonverbal cues. You don't have to say anything in order to lie. So because of all this, the definition that I like to use for lying is just intentional deception. Whatever that looks like, if it is intentional and the point is to deceive someone else, or maybe yourself, then that's lying. So whether it's speech or not, lying is behavior, and I consider the field that I work in to be behavior, the work of changing behavior, and of course that means I like to learn about and study behavior. And what we know, one of the most basic facts about behavior is that all behavior exists to get results. All behavior happens to create results that you want to happen in the world for you. Jesse, no pineapple on pizza. Hey, you know what? To each their own. If you hate pineapple on pizza, I respect that. That's absolutely fine. I could take it or leave it, honestly. It's not, I can't take a hard stance on it. So lying as a behavior, the point of it is to make what you want to happen. And let's see. So this is a quote by a person named Jennifer Nelson. I was reading up today about lying. She says, lying, and this fits quite nicely into my definition of lying. She says, lying describes an ability to engineer what we might want sans force. So, and she quotes in turn Cicella Bach, a Harvard ethicist and prominent authority on lying, says it's easier to get money from others by lying than hitting them over the head or grabbing their purse, as an example. So lying has evolved among a social species, a majority cooperative species. It's a way to kind of take advantage of people, just get results that you want that might not otherwise happen, or that you think might not otherwise happen. Now, just for anybody who might want to get technical, yes, there is maybe a special category of deception that is considered acceptable by most of us, and because of that, I would put it in a different category than lying, but still is intentional deception. And that is when those on the receiving end agree to be deceived under certain parameters, right? So say you go to see a movie or to see a play, you expect that the actors are going to be trying to deceive you. They are going to be acting in a way that makes you believe they are someone they are not. Or another example might be like a magician. You go to a magic show, their whole career is about trying to deceive people. And if you buy those tickets, you know exactly what you're signing up for. It's a formal agreement, and so in that case, it's like no question. I don't consider that lying, even though it is still intentional deception. Now, today's April 2nd, and yesterday was April Fool's Day, and I will tell you this: I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of April Fool's Day. I think that April Fools and the type of jokes that happen on April Fools, whether or not they actually happen on the day, is a gray area. But I'll tell you why I don't like it. The victims of these jokes, they don't opt in. It happens to them. They may or may not enjoy it. Maybe they like understand that it's a joke when either they at some point they realize it, or the jokester tells them, or they realize it's April 1st. But honestly, like I don't participate, but the jokes that I see happen around April Fools, to me, they're just lies. They're just lies, and as such, they degrade trust, right? Especially when people joke about like serious things like pregnancy or illness or death, or like, come on, don't do that. That's just mean, you guys. Okay, here I'm telling you, like, don't do that. But yeah, so that's a different category. But anyway, we as humans, we lie a lot. Do any other species lie? Interesting question. Many species, including not just animals, but even plants, deceive. They have developed strategies such as camouflage that is intended to deceive potential predators. But this is different because they're not necessarily aware of it, right? Remember, the definition of lying that we're using is intentional deception. Now, chimpanzees and many, or some at least, other great apes, other great apes have been known to intentionally deceive their conspecifics, other monkeys and apes. So it is, by that definition, is not exclusive to humans, but certainly we are the most dishonest species because we have developed language. Language, verbal communication, gave us a whole new realm of possibilities, of ways to lie and deceive each other. But here's another reason why it is such a inherently it's so human to lie, is that it is complex. And in the grand scheme of evolution, like some might say we are the most evolved species. I don't know if that's technically correct, but we have a lot of cognitive abilities that most species do not. It doesn't mean that everything that we can do is not an ability of some other species, but we certainly have a nice collection that allows us to have all the technological advances that we do, and to have created the society that we have. Not saying that it's perfect by any means, we can all attest to that, but anyway. But lying is an advanced cognitive skill. It requires the ability to think of alternate realities, and imagination is itself a higher cognitive skill, but also, so it occurs in the orbital prefrontal cortex. It is a sophisticated accomplishment, the ability to lie. It is neurologically demanding, meaning it requires more control, more self-control, more cognitive resources. It requires, I learned about this today, so it requires deontic reasoning, which I understand as the ability to understand like social norms and when, like, what's okay and what's not according to your community, and when you will be breaching that social contract, and theory of mind, which is the ability to understand that other people that they have their own internal mental world going on, that they may know different things than you, that they may feel different things than you, and yeah, so it requires a lot in terms of cognitive abilities. And as more evidence of this, I think even humans don't. We first show evidence of lying, at least verbally, not until the ages of about 4 or 5, and we continue to get better at it as we grow older, as our brains develop. We just get better at it. Now, all of that is, I think it's just interesting. Like, I think it's interesting to learn about like what makes different species different, especially humans, because we're all interested in ourselves, aren't we? But the bottom line here is that as a species, we're liars, and we lie a lot. And so it's no surprise that we lie to dogs. But they do not have all of that cognitive ability, processing ability, and moral understanding that we do. So they don't lie to us. And they expect that we are not going to lie to them. They don't expect it. They are very innocently amoral, meaning they just, everything that they do in life, they do to just get the results that they want, right? That's the whole point of all behavior, of all species. It is why behavior itself evolved. And so they try to make what they want to happen through the means that they know how, and they just do what works for them, what gets the results that they want, totally unconcerned with the rightness and wrongness of anything. So yeah, and they believe what they see. They believe what we tell them with our body language, or our words, until we teach them to mistrust us. And here's where we're going to get into why you even want to know that we lie to dogs and what can happen, is because it seems harmless. Honestly, like what the examples I'm going to talk about, like for the most part, they seem like first of all, they work for us, which is why it happens. And it's like the sky doesn't fall when it happens. So we, it's just not something we think about until it becomes a problem. And Savage Coffee says, I gotta head out. Have a great show. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great weekend. But when we do this, we teach them to mistrust us, which just on its face, like, I don't know, I don't want my dog to mistrust me. Like, that's enough of a reason in and of itself. But also, if my dog mistrusts me, that's going to lead to problems later on. If I need to get something done, if I need him to do something, and he doesn't trust that I'm giving him instruction that is going to end well for him, or that is going to work out for him, or that, then he's not going to cooperate. He's not going to do what I want. It's going to get more frustrating for me if he doesn't trust me. So this is the domino effect of what can happen when we lie to dogs. Doesn't seem like a big deal until it is. So that's why it's worth talking about, I think. So can you tell me, can you think of an example? Do you already know maybe a time that you have lied to your dog, or any dog, I guess? Can you tell, like, is it self-explanatory what I mean? I've talked about this before, so maybe we've come up with a couple examples, and or maybe, but I really want to know, like, if I just say, like, don't lie to dogs, is that enough of an explanation to, like, a person who's never heard me talk about this before? Could you think of, like, oh yeah, I know what you mean, like when I do XYZ? If so, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to know, like, is that sufficient explanation? If it's not, guess what? We're going to go into some specific examples. And I'm not saying this is not exhaustive by any means. I'm sure that we could come up with many more with enough time. But here's the ones that I could come up with. But first, just as a just maybe a slightly more detailed explanation, lying to dogs, how I think of it is, whatever we do, we try to make them think one thing's going to happen when something else is going to happen, or maybe just when that first thing is not going to happen. More specifically, we think that something, or we make them think that something that they think is good is going to happen, but then something that they think is bad is going to happen. I don't know why anybody would try and make them think something bad was going to happen and then something positive was happen. So usually it's the other way around. But yeah, okay, yes, CK, thank you. That's a perfect example. She says, I hate it when my brother teases his dog with the words like "go bye bye" just to get them to react. Exactly. So that would be like, I had some example written down that was similar, but that's even better. That's perfect. Yeah, just asking them if they want something, whether that's with our words or with our actions. We do something that you know they're going to recognize just to get them to react, but then that thing's not going to happen. The dog gets let down. That's a lie. Okay, that's example number one then. Another thing would be like if we say need to get the dog to go outside or come inside or go on the other side of a gate. We need to close the gate behind them or something like that. We need the dog to go somewhere and we pretend to throw a treat or we throw a toy. And then like as soon as they're on the other side of the door or the gate, we slam it shut. Aha, you're trapped. Like nobody, I don't think anybody means it to be that malicious. But if you're just like, oh, you know, we've got guests coming in and I need them on the other side of the gate right now. Throw the toy, like, okay, trapped. And he thought like, oh, like I thought we were playing a game and instead you just locked me behind the door and left me. Like that would be a lie. Similarly, if we act like we're gonna play or we're gonna do something fun, and then instead like you get your dog and it's, oh sorry, I was gonna play, but instead it's bath time, or instead it's time to get a nail trim, or we like excited happy talk to get them to come to us, and then as soon as they're within hand's reach, you know, we grab them by the collar, leash them up, and take them home. It's like you were acting like all happy, like you were gonna party with me or like something, you know, and then instead the dog's like I just got trapped and thrown in the car. So now that we've given a few examples, anybody else, have you seen this happen? Can you think of anything that kind of, any other ways that we might be intentionally deceiving our dogs? I've got more. Oh gosh. So I recently posted this video I saw, or like a GIF of somebody who was like pretending to pick up treats from a table and hand them to their corgi, and like, I mean, it was just supposed to be like funny or joke, but like the first one and then two treats, the corgi like like tried to bite, he was like, oh, like, bummer. Third treat, Corgi turns his head away and snarls. Because they learn. They're, and that's like pretending to give him a fake treat. Again, it kind of like CK, like it might be like your brother where, yeah, like we just do this to get a reaction out of him. Like that owner probably thought like, yeah, this Corgi snarling at me, like it's funny. But like from the dog's perspective, it's like, that's just a letdown. It's a bummer. Jessie says, sometimes my 3-year-old lab female wouldn't come inside the house. I tell her if she wants to eat and she comes inside. So Jessie, so when she does come inside, does she get to eat? I'm assuming, since you're giving us this example, that that's just your way to get her to come inside in that moment, but it's not actually mealtime. She doesn't get to eat. So that would be a great example of intentional deception. Let's see. So the air treats, yeah. Maybe like, and this maybe not quite as intentional, but like say we grab the leash like as if we're going to get ready to go for a walk, and then we don't leave right away. That's gray area. I'm not, because that may not be intentional on our part, but it would be an example of when a dog might, like, they see something's about to happen and then they're disappointed. Let's see. Or sometimes we use distraction as a way to just get their attention off of something else, like maybe potentially painful that we have to do. Like, I don't know, if we have to like brush a mat of fur out, or something that the dog really doesn't like, and we just like distract them with food and then like do the thing before they can turn around and bite you. Like that could be in that area of intentional deception, depending on how you do it. Pill pockets. Oh my gosh, you guys. So this is, okay, you're gonna think maybe that this is going a little bit far. This was a brainstorm, okay? I was just trying to think of like any ways that we might be deceiving our dogs that could lead to these negative results that we're going to talk about in a second. But I was like, pill pockets are friggin' lies. Like, and the reason it might be okay, might not, is because if you've got that dog who you can put the pill in the pill pocket, or wrap it in cheese or meat or whatever, hide it in something yummy, and then give it to him. If you have the dog who never realizes there was a pill in there, then it's probably fine. That's not a big deal. It's not gonna, you can't go too wrong there. So if you've been giving your dog pills this way and nothing bad's happened, then fine, continue on. Jessie, okay. So Jessie says she gets a treat but not a full meal. Okay, I mean, is that when you ask her if she wants to eat, is that the cue you use before meals, or does that, like, because if she's used to you saying that only before meals and then comes in and just gets a treat, then there's that disparity between what she's expecting and what she gets. So that, I don't know. I mean, she said she's 3 years old, and if you've done this a number of times and her behavior has not changed, she still comes running when you say it, then it's probably not a big deal. But for some dogs, like if you say, do you want to eat? And that's always the cue that they hear before they get a full meal, and they come in and they only get a small treat, then that disparity could cause disappointment, that could cause behavior change that you don't want to see later. So this is just like, we're kind of just talking through like how to avoid the negative impacts of deceiving dogs. I'm trying to help you guys become better liars, really. No, that's no. So okay, but no, I wanted about the pill pocket. So the dogs that never realize it's there, not a problem. But if you have that dog who picks the pill out, spits the pill out, and eats the rest of the treat, then you've got a problem. Because that dog is going to learn to mistrust food. And that can be a problem later on. That can throw a wrench in your training. It can throw a wrench in your relationship. It can prevent you from being able to give them other pills in the future. It can, I mean, that can be kind of insidious. So if you've got that dog, I suggest forgetting that trick and training the dog to take pills. Yes, it is possible. Okay, Jesse says, yeah, eat is for meals. Use the word treat for treat. Okay, but has her behavior changed? Does she still come running with the same speed and enthusiasm when you call her inside and say, do you want to eat, that she did the first time you did it? What we want to know is, does the dog, like, we want to know, is there any change in their behavior? Have they learned? Because that's what's going to tell you, like, if you want to continue with that strategy or do you want to find another way. Okay, CK says, I always said it's time for your meds, even though I put the pill in the treat because they won't eat the pill otherwise. So I don't like shoving the treat or shoving the pill. Okay, so that's great. So you've created a cue, which in sciencey behavior terms, we call a discriminative stimulus. So it's something that sets that situation apart from when you're giving other treats. So it sets up a different expectation for the dog, which is going to protect those other interactions that you have with food. So CK, man, you're always on it. You're on it. So that's a perfectly good way to kind of protect your what you've trained, or just your other interactions, which means kind of, I mean, because here's the thing, and here's why that distinction can matter, is because we always, I mean, all of us who have dogs or pets, any pets, there's gonna be those times that we have to do stuff that they don't like, right? I mean, veterinary care, grooming, just if we're going to take the best care of them that we can, sometimes that means doing stuff that they don't like. And those really are the times that where lying tends to happen, because we have to get it done, we have to take care of them, but those are also that creates opportunities for them to learn to mistrust us. So if we just let them know that the bad thing is going to happen, or create a discriminative stimulus or a different cue that lets them know, like, it's not as bad, like they still get the treat, like, CK, we still get the pill with the treat, so it's not just a pill, it's not terrible, but they know to expect something different, and so we're going to have to do the bad thing anyway, but if we let them know, hey, this situation is going to be different, it's going to suck, but it's going to be over quickly, you can like put that in a different bubble than all of the rest of your positive, wonderful, beautiful interactions, all of that trust that you've built. If you just let them know this is going to be different, because animals are just brilliant at understanding distinctions, understanding what makes this situation different from this situation. They are so smart at picking out the tiniest little differences, and because they need to know, in order to move through the world confidently and without being worried or anxious all the time, they want to know what to expect. So they're very good at figuring out, what situation is this? What situation is this? Like, so that they know, so that they can tell for themselves what to expect. And so we can help them by creating these separate bubbles. Anyway, so the pill pockets, that we kind of got off on a little tangent with the pill pockets, but yeah, that just be careful with that one. So we talked about this before, and I wanted to talk about when we pretend to throw the ball, but we don't actually throw it, because CK brought that up one other time, and I've thought about it a little bit more. Now, Honestly, I don't know. I don't know to tell you whether this is a good idea or a bad idea. I think there's a lot of nuance here. But I thought, in case anyone else had that question, I would just kind of talk you through my thought process, so that you can make the decision that you want to make for you and your dog. So, first of all, as we are acting like we're going to throw the ball, but not intending to, it does fit the definition we're using of intentional deception. Yes. But it's occurring in the context of play, and you're probably going to throw the ball eventually. So if this is just kind of part of your routine, that this is just how you and your dog play together, and they have come to expect that that's part of it, it might be, because your dog continues to opt in to this scenario, it could be fun. It could be it's just part of the agreement, meaning the dog is agreeing that, like, this is okay, this is the game we play. As long as it's not bothering them, it could be fine. Now, unless you pretend to throw the ball and then you never actually throw it, then my opinion is that that's just mean. But and here's the little, well, there's a couple nuancy things. So first of all, watching the dog's body language, like if even if your dog does continue to play, there are some things, like, in an individual dog's body language that might tell you whether they're getting exasperated with that pretend ball throw, or if they're just completely jazzed still, and it's not a worry at all. So that's number one, is just pay very close attention to their little body language. Jesse said, okay, I will try to use the word treat to get her inside instead of the word eat. Thanks. Maybe, I don't know. Creating that distinction could help, but if you haven't noticed any difference or any change in the way that she responds, then it may not be a problem at all. Totally your call. Not here to tell anybody, like, do this, don't do that. Like, no, this is just information. I'm just, like, it's a very thinky exercise, and I tend to overthink, guys. So if you're here, maybe you like to overthink with me. I don't know. But anyway, so back to the ball throwing, the pretend ball throwing. So when we play this little game, when we pretend to throw the ball but don't, a lot of dogs will eventually, so maybe the first couple times you pretended, they like ran ahead to where they thought the ball, where they thought the ball was going to go, turn around and, like, it's not coming. Okay. Over time, over the number of times that you pretend like that, you may see them stop running ahead, or in some form or fashion, the way that they respond to your pretend throw will change. And even if you see their behavior change, even if slightly, this means that they are learning. They're learning from these experiences, and they, like, gosh, and I'm really afraid that I'm overthinking here, but they're learning that your actions don't always predict what they thought they were going to, in the positive to negative trajectory, which means they are learning that you lie. If they are disappointed by this, then it could be a problem. Maybe that never happens. Maybe most dogs, it's not a problem. This is just, I swear, this was just, like, me really overthinking it and, like, trying to, like, determine for myself, like, could that be a problem? Like, is it a problem ever? Is it a problem sometimes? Like, I really don't know the answer to that. But anyway, that was what happened in my brain. So there you go. But Anyway, so okay, so those are the examples that I could come up with. If you guys have any others that I didn't already say, I would love to add them to my list. Jesse says, I think not lying to the dog is better. Generally, not lying is better. I mean, I think most of us would probably say that, but still we do sometimes, right? And like I said, like there are white lies. We lie to each other sometimes to make the other person feel better, right? It's not that, like, it really isn't a black and white topic. But it is, I don't know. I always loved like philosophical discussions, because especially when it's unclear, because I don't know, like it's just fun. It's to have thought experiments can be really fun. And that can tell you a lot about me. Like, my idea of a good time is just like sitting in a philosophy circle. Anyway. Okay, but here's okay. If you guys, I mean, if you think of any as we continue on, feel free to throw them in the comments. Would love to hear other ways that you have ever seen somebody intentionally deceive an animal. Anyway, but like, so we know that lying can erode the trust that you have between you and this animal, and that can be bad in and of itself. But the consequences that you might see in these situations are that you create a dog that we now want to label as stubborn or sneaky, because they learn. I mean, they learn from our actions. It's not that they're like, I mean, they don't have those cognitive processes to really think like, my human is a liar, or like, that's morally wrong, or that, but they learn that, like, okay, when human does this, it doesn't always mean this, so now I have to figure out another way to tell what's really going on, right? That them picking out those distinctions so that they can predict what is relevant to themselves. Jesse. Yeah, we all lie at times, like telling David he's not old. Ooh, low. I don't think he's watching right now, but he might hear me downstairs. That's funny. But anyway, okay, so yeah, so they, so now I'm trying to think of the example. So like, say, bath time. Okay, we're gonna talk about bath time. CK's laughing too. Bath time is one that's been kind of tricky to navigate in our household, because Dizzy does not like bath time, and I have not had the opportunity, but the truth is I haven't trained him to be okay with bath time. But what I'm conscious of, what I'm aware of, is that I could, like, okay, so my ritual is these days, or at least because it's been winter, I bathe him in the shower with me when I'm taking a shower, and because I don't want to keep him in there the whole time that I'm in there, because I will take longer, and I don't want to torture him any longer than I have to. So what I'll do is I'll take him in there, give him his bath, and then I'll open the door and let him out. So what I do pre-shower is I will go to the laundry room, I will grab the dog towels, I take him in the bathroom, and I cover a lot of the floor so that he can roll around and start to dry off before I come out. And so because he doesn't like bath time, he knows what's going on. He's picked up on those cues that allow him to predict it's bath time, which is me grabbing those towels, me going in the bathroom and laying them out, and I know that he has picked up on them, because when I do that, he just looks sad, right? His behavior, his body language, he gets low, his tail droops, his ears droop, he kind of hangs his head, and he like avoids me. Right? Like, he'll go to the other room. Now at that point in time, I have a choice. I could lock him in the bathroom before I get the towels, or I could get all that stuff ready and then pretend I'm doing something else. I could be like, oh, Dizzy, come on, and like maybe get a toy or get him some treats and like just like dance and play all the way into the bathroom and then lock the door and be like, haha, it's bath time, sorry, sucker. Right? But my fear is if I do any of either of those things, he's gonna learn to predict that I'm lying. He's gonna learn that those might be deception, and what that means is that all of that, like that, all of the stuff that I did, all of those behaviors, the happy talk and the clapping and the whatever play I do and the treats and all of that good stuff doesn't always predict good stuff for him. Like in this instance, me being all like party predicts me locking him in the bathroom for bath time, which it poisons all of that good stuff that I do, which creates the possibility that in other contexts, when I act like that, when I'm like, yay, Dizzy, blah, 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 he's gonna think twice. He may be like, this, okay, like this could be good, but I don't know, maybe she's trying to trick me into bath time again. And that's what I mean by mistrust. I don't want him to think twice. When I'm showing happiness and encouraging him to play with me or to come to me or to, I want him to wholeheartedly 100% know that like it's gonna be good, right? I don't want that second guessing to go on in his brain. And so the last time I had to give him a bath, which was recent, I got the bathroom ready. I put the towels out. And then I went to him and I said, hey man, it's bath time. Come with me. And miracle of miracles, he followed me in there. I closed the door and I opened the shower door and I like motioned for him to enter ahead of me. Like I didn't even have to like pick him up and put him in there. Nothing. He was like, okay, and he went in and we did the shower and like all was well. And then of course afterwards, he likes getting dried off, so at least it ends in like something he likes. Then he gets to go like zoomies all around the house and then we play and he gets all these treats. So like I let him know, listen man, the bad thing's gonna happen, we get it over with, and afterwards the positive thing happens. So this is like, if we were to just like boil all this down to like a very simple concept, I would tell you guys, in our interactions with our animals, if there's gonna be a good thing that happens and a bad thing that happens, make the bad thing happen first. You always want to be going bad to good, not good to bad. That's the simple way to just, yeah. But what else can we do instead of tricking them? You can actually train them to do the thing that you want that they don't necessarily want to do. I could, with the bath time, we could go through this whole desensitization and counter conditioning training process. You can do the same with your nail trims or with really any other veterinary procedure or grooming procedure, with wiping their eyes or wiping their paws or I don't know, what's been a problem in your house? Like what things do you have to do with your dogs that they fight you on it or they avoid you, or like something that's been a problem? Probably that is something that you could teach them to cooperate with that procedure. You can teach them to take pills. Now, CK, I like what you did there with, just you give it to them in a treat. That's great. That's fine. But you've created a distinction. That is a really great option. You could just, as an alternative option, have them just take the pills straight and then follow it up with a treat. Another way to just teach them to take pills. Now, that can be harder depending on the taste, like how bad is the pill, and how picky is the dog. But it's an option. you can, like, when it's something where you have to, like, you need the dog to move somewhere, you need them to go outside, or you need them to come inside, or you need them to go on the other side of a gate, or go in the car. You can teach them a context specific cue that tells them to go in whichever of those places you like, or you can teach them like a targeting cue. You lead them to the area, have them touch that cue, and in order to do that, they have to go over there. That way, it's at least you've trained a behavior that you can reward. Yeah, it's gonna still be disappointing, maybe, depending on the situation, but at least you're still gonna reward them. So it's not just, oh, a bad thing happened, but like a bad thing and a good thing. So we can at least make it a little bit better for them. Hey, Paul Burke, welcome. Do you lie to your cats? Have you ever lied to a cat or a dog? Please share. Or have you lied to anybody today? I forgot, that was our question of the day. Anyway, so training is the answer. All of these things are trainable. And yeah, so this does a couple of things. It first of all, it teaches them new skills, and more skills are always nice to have. Paul says, lie to anyone? No. Damn it, I just did. I mean, we're humans, and so we're liars. That's that's the take-home message. It's okay. CK says, haha, even if you did lie to cats, I don't think they care. Might be true. Might be true. I have not done the thought experiments about lying to cats, but maybe they don't care. I don't know. But yeah, so it's by training them to go through these, to do what you want them to do, essentially, it's gonna create that distinction. So it gives them a way to tell this situation from that situation the way that you want them to understand it, because sometimes they pick up on things that we did not intend, and that's where we're like, he's stubborn and he won't go in the bathroom when I need him to take a bath, or and dogs get labeled sneaky and stubborn, but it's just because they're smart. It's just because they've learned the contingencies that are in place. But we, with our big humans, with our big human brains, with our prefrontal cortex, we can understand what's going on, and we can manipulate the situation so that everybody wins, everybody's happy. So it protects your relationship by creating this nice distinction. It teaches them new skills, and I think there was another thing, but I am sorry if I have forgotten. Paul says, I do lie to my cats, and I think as long as they get enough food, I can live any life I want. What do you lie to your cats about? Okay, so here's the one thing that I will say, like, probably not a problem at all, is if you literally, like, verbally, like that first definition of lying that we talked about before, like just with your words, literally you saying false statements. Since our animals don't understand our language, you could lie to them in that way and have no negative side effects whatsoever. That's totally fine. I won't even judge you. I'm not going to judge you for the rest of it either. But again, it's all about you having the information. So, yeah. So you could lie to your dogs and cats all day in that sense, but using our other definition, that intentional deception, that's when you can end up in the weeds. Food is important with the cats, CK. I mean, food's important for all of us, right? Don't lie to me about food. Oh, that's mean. Have you has anybody ever handed you something that you thought was one kind of food, but it was something totally different, and or you drank something that you thought was a different beverage? That's that's maybe a really good example, because it's like, maybe it was intentional, but probably not. But if you're expecting one thing and get another, even if the other thing isn't like inherently bad, that disparity from what you expected and what you got can be a really negative experience. But that was a weird thought. Sorry, you guys get the just like whatever's popping up in my brain right now. It's Friday. So hey. Oh, CK, yes, those horrible tasting jelly beans. Man, you are on it today with the like perfect examples. Jelly beans, jelly bellies with the like weird flavors. Yeah, that can be that can be a really horrible experience, even though I love jelly beans. I love them. The whatever's popping up are the best. Hey, good. Well, yeah, I mean, do you guys have any other questions maybe about, or other thought experiments we can kind of meander down these roads? Because that wraps up what I had to say about lying to our dogs. I mean, I don't know, like Jesse said earlier, he thinks probably not lying in the case of, at least in the case of his 3-year-old lab coming inside from the yard, might be better not to. But again, it totally depends on all of these factors, right? And yeah, so I don't know, it's just something to think about. But I just always think that, like, you know, our dogs and our cats, despite, I mean, maybe not, I don't know, but I just think they're so, like, they're innocent. I mean, we label them all these things. We say they're like naughty, or they're trying to cause mischief, or they're, but like they're just doing what works for them, and without any labels of right and wrong, good, bad. Like, they're just doing what works. And I think that that's kind of like, it doesn't take anything away from their intelligence or their abilities or their inherent value. Like saying that they don't have that capacity, that mental capacity, doesn't take anything away from their dogness or catness. It if anything, it's kind of beautiful. Like, that's one thing that I love about animals, is it just, they're, what you see is what you get, and it's, and for me, even if it didn't have like all of the other like fallout, all of that behavioral like stuff, even if those side effects didn't happen, like, I just kind of, it inspires, like I just kind of want to repay that in kind. I just like, man, like, my dog would never lie to me. Like, I never, I don't know, what do they call it? There's a term for, like, wanting to respond in kind. Does anybody know this? I was trying to look it up the other day, and I just couldn't remember it, and I couldn't find it. So if you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. But let me catch up here for a second. Paul says, oh, or people saying it's not hot, and they're yes. Oh, and their tastes are super subjective. Absolutely. Subjectivity can make things complicated. I have a very low tolerance for spicy foods. So I have learned, and this is, I like this example, Paul. Thank you. I have learned through experiences of people who have higher tolerances telling me, like, oh, it's not spicy at all, can't even taste it. And then I try something and I end up like crying because it's so spicy. Hey, bud. And yeah, so even, and that didn't even have to be intentional. Like, they didn't have to intentionally it's not like they wanted me to cry. They just wanted me to try this food or something, but yeah, but I've learned, right? And so my behavior has changed. So next time around, somebody says that to me, I'm like, I may not try it at all, or I may try just like a tinier bit than I would have in the past, right? And that's learning, right? That and maybe an alternate definition of learning is behavior change. Like those are kind of equivalent. Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. CK's, yes. Ah, these are like such relevant examples to me. CK says taking you to a movie, saying it's not scary, but it is, and they just want to see you squirm. I got roped into seeing The Ring and was told it was about something else. Ooh, that is cruel. That is very cruel. So I do not watch scary movies, and this is another, like, this could be like this, like the spicy food, like the subjective thing too, because there's like all these categories of scary movies, right? Like there's horror films, and there's suspense, and there's psychological thrillers, and there's, and for a person like me who's I'm just very sensitive, I have a very low tolerance for scary films. So for the most part, like almost any category that could potentially be labeled a scary film is like that to me, scary movie. That's like just they all stamped scary movie. But I will have friends who are like, oh, but it's just like stupid scary. Like, yes, there's a lot of gore, but like it's not really scary. It's actually funny, blah blah blah, And I'm like, it doesn't matter for me. Like that, the visual, like that stuff, it will stick with me. It will get in my head. It will follow me around for weeks. I will be a mess. It like my brain is just, I have to, I know because I've been tricked. I've been roped into those scary movies before. And I know that it messes with me. So again, my behavior has changed. Now I ask a lot more questions. If someone asks me to go to a movie and I think it might be scary, and they tell me it's not, I'm going to look up the trailer before agreeing to go. Or like this happens with David all the time. Like so actually, we just started watching this show. It was a recommendation from another friend who said it was good. He put it on, and I was like, I don't know what it was, something about the music, but I was like, is this going to be scary? And he's like, no, it's just like a psychological thriller. And I'm like, but that's scary. But anyway, yeah, it absolutely can be subjective. Did you think The Ring was about a wedding proposal? Oh, The Ring, that makes sense. I get it. That's funny. Paul says, I hate spicy food, and people who love Thai hot always want to tell me, oh, me, I love, yeah. It's like a badge of honor, right? Like I can handle hot, spicy food. Yeah, you know what? Fine. If that's have your badge of honor, that's fine. I'm a wimp. I'm fine with that. We can, shush. You're getting your cookies. So yeah, no, I can't do the spicy food. I can't do the scary movies. And after the movie, CK, they would call me during my shift or in my room and say 7 days and hang up. Oh, those I don't keep friends who scare me intentionally, because I don't like some. Okay, this is great. This is another perfect example of that pre-agreed upon situations, right? If the victim of the lie or of the scary movie or the hot food or the whatever, if it's an agreed upon arrangement in advance, then it's okay, because then nobody's getting tricked or fooled. You know what to expect. People who go to haunted houses, or people who, like, I don't know, like, I mean, if you've paid money for a ticket to go and have this experience, if you've paid money for that spicy food, like, and you know what you were getting into, like, then fine. If you like that kind of torture, by all means, have at it. No judgment. My problem comes in when people are deceived. That's, yeah. You have what doctors call sensitive brain. It's a professional term. Yeah. So I have a sensitive brain and soft teeth, and I'm just, yeah. I'm Thai wimp. Yes. No, that is brutal, CK. I don't keep friends like that, because if you know me and you know I don't like being scared, and then you put me in situations that you know are going to be like I mean, traumatic, that term may sound a little extreme, but like I feel like it's traumatic. Um, if you're gonna do that to me, you are not a friend of mine. um, oh my gosh, I like when we were kids, my siblings, like knowing that I was scared of clowns, would like just I mean, even just like cutting out of those like ads that would come in the mail, like cutting out the clown masks or something, and they would put it on my bedroom door because I was so scared that like if that was on there, like I couldn't even go in my room because I couldn't touch the door. Like it would freak me out that bad. Or I had friends who would threaten to put on a mask and like show up outside my bedroom window at night. Like if you have, you know, what doctors call sensitive brain, you like that can seriously be traumatic. Paul, yeah, if you like that kind of torture. I mean, and some people do. Like and again, I like if you like that, then it's not as negative an experience for some people. But if you don't, then like that's terrible. It's the same as like I don't know, if you're scared of spiders versus not, like then going camping maybe just fine for you, but if you go camping and there are spiders, like you know, like it's just everything is subjective. So again, no, we don't play that seriously, right? Like no, no, we will not get along after that. So yeah, like don't trick people into situations that they are gonna be upset about. Like people who in like I mean, and this happens and it's sad, but like this happens when with kids, like kids are mean and kids will try to get a reaction out of people. I mean, it's not restricted to kids. Like adults will do this too, and like no. No. Um Diz. Oh, no, I'm not rewarding your whining. No, I will not. Um um yeah, no, but people who sorry, train of thought there. People who do stuff just to get a rise out of other people who like just try and upset people or get them like riled up or like mm, like I don't even have words. Like I'm just mm. um yeah, it's not nice. It's like not a nice thing to do. Um we're like I feel like maybe we're totally off topic here, but like since we ended up here, just don't do that. It's not nice. It's like that's what April Fools is all about. It's like trying to upset people, and I'm not about it. I am not. But thank you, Paul. She says really liking my cover photos. I appreciate that. They're fun. They're fun. They're fun to make, right? I'm just like looking at pictures of dogs and like I really like. I think in another life I could have been like done something with graphic design. Like I like that stuff, but I have no education or like yeah. I just I don't know. I think it's fun though. Paul says I'm with you. That kind of crap just erodes trust, and there you have it. Like stuff that erodes trust, and you think you're like, oh, but I'm just playing around, I'm just having fun, or like I thought it would be fun for them, or like, but if it's not, it's just chipping away, just chipping away at that relationship, and you don't think it's a problem until it is. And so yeah. Paul, yeah, not a fan of April Fools. There's so many, thank you, so many ways to get a laugh that isn't pranking or torturing someone. And like, I wish I could remember. Okay, there was one time that I saw, probably just online, I was scrolling or whatever, and I saw an April Fool's prank or joke or something. No. You were good, and I didn't reward it, and I'm sorry, but now that you've been whining, I can't until you've been quiet for a little while longer, so we're just gonna have to wait. That was just a hair, sorry. Sorry, you guys, welcome to my world. No, there was once a really cute, positive, fun April Fool's joke. And I wish I could remember it because I thought, like, this is a person who, like, they've got it all figured out. No, it was cute, but it's only happened once. For the most part, like, the stuff I see people, the pranks I see people playing for April Fools or any other day, it's usually just something that is going to upset a person, get them riled up, disappoint them, or otherwise erode their trust in you, and they're about things that are mean. Sorry, I don't mean to be complaining. It's just like April Fools has been, like, historically, like, a bad day for me. So sorry. I don't know. What joke did Kirk play on Iris? I don't think it probably wasn't, because I don't think I know what joke that was, but if it was Kirk and Iris, I'm sure it was really adorable. So please share. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm gonna hang around and hear about this joke because I love Kirk and Iris. They're so cute. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining about April Fools. But I know. So Paul said he's not a fan. Is anybody here a fan of April Fools? Anybody like it? Anybody had any jokes played on you that are fun? Or have you come up with a really cute, sweet joke that, like, people could do instead of all the nasty ones? So in the profession of behavior change, right? One way that we like to eradicate bad behaviors or just behavior that's not convenient for us is to find something better that can replace it. So here we go. Okay, so in the world of April Fools, what we could do is just set a better example of really fun, sweet jokes to play on people instead. Let's start a movement, like just of cute April Fools things. No, you'll have to tell me later? Oh, okay. All right, cool. Hey, my sister's calling. I'm going to answer. You guys want to talk to my sister? Hey.
Hey, Boob.
Did you hear her? She just called me Boob. I'm on my live stream right now. Do you want to talk to my people?
Hi. Live stream? You're answering your phone on your live stream?
I am today.
Why?
Because you're cute and I want to share you with the world.
You're cute and I want to share you with the world.
What's up? What are you doing?
I was going to ask you an inappropriate question, but now it seems inappropriate.
You were going to ask me an inappropriate question? Okay, hang on. I'm going to take you off speaker and you can tell me and I'll decide if they need to know about it. How about that?
You're a duck?
I'm a duck?
Is that what you just said?
No. Okay, what's the inappropriate question? Gummies? Yeah, the weed gummies. Oh, that's not inappropriate.
Stream.
You know.
Who's listening to you?
Who's listening to me? All of my friends.
Is Drew there? And Sarah? And Ben?
Probably not. I don't know. You guys here? Paul says, I'm going to start calling my brother Pex. She calls me.
Did they hear me? Did they hear me call you Boob, or did you just tell them?
Well, they did now, and I told them. Karen says, me, I'm here.
Who's Karen? Hi.
Hi, Karen. Paul says, Ben, Sarah, show yourself. They're probably not available, but they're probably still working. Yeah, no, I don't know. How did that even start? She started calling me Boob, so then I started calling her Butt. It's just
I don't remember you ever calling me Butt.
What? It's happened a million times.
No, the
Pretty
only
much.
thing I remember about butts is that I like to spank you. I
Pretty
do
much.
it a lot, and somehow every single time you're still offended.
I'm not.
You're not even offended. You're just surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising because it doesn't happen all the time, but I'm not offended.
David, are you slacking or what?
Oh. No, I call you butt pretty much almost every time you call me boob. So it happens at about the same frequency. Paul, okay, you're going to find this funny. Paul goes, boob and butt, a tale as old as time. And Karen says, hi, how are you? We love Jennifer.
Oh,
you guys, I'm like,
too. She's my favorite human.
This is amazing. I have not laughed this hard in a while. Like my eyes are red. Like this is. I'm gonna have to go soon.
Why? I don't want you to go.
To go get some eye drops or something. Anyway, so also because if I keep laughing, I'm not gonna be able to speak. Anyway, to your question about the. I don't know if
the
we
gummies.
The gummies. I don't know if we have that, but what do you just wanted to know what kind we had or what was in it?
Yeah, I wanted to know what brand it was because I'm pretty sure that Mike has the same thing, and so I wanted to know how much I can take because I know how much of yours that I had, but now that I'm looking at them, they don't look the same. So
Okay.
I can't remember if it's the same brand or if it's the same strength or what.
Okay.
I just don't want to get too high again.
She doesn't want to get too high. So we got to know what kind of gummies we had that one time. I will see if I can find out for you, and I will call you back in a few moments.
Can you just tell David to call me? What's he doing?
I don't know. You call him.
Where's David?
Downstairs.
Oh, well, I'll call him.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Adult Jello. Exactly. Oh, and she loves adult Jello. My sister lives in the Midwest, and they go on like river rafting float trips. That's what it's called. I've been away so long I didn't remember what it's called, but they go on float trips all summer and do Jello shots the whole time. Apparently now she's looking for weed gummies. But yeah, you don't want to overdo it. Not with the edibles. Not with my sensitive brain. I don't know if my sister's has the sensitive brain condition like I do, but you can't be too careful, right? Well, anyway, so you guys, that's my sister Elle. Glad you guys got to meet, sort of. Maybe she will one day come visit. She said she wanted to come visit last time we talked, and I was like, great, you can come and be on the show. So then you guys would actually get to see her. But anyway. So that's a fun note to end our Friday stream. So there's that. If it is your first time here, welcome. It's been a special day. Also, if it's your first time here, be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube or like or follow me on Facebook so that we can have more fun times together. Paul says, when you take a gummy, Jennifer, do you say, I'm looking for a boob lift? Do not. I do not. I don't know that I don't know. I probably say I'm scared because like yeah. I get paranoid. I can't do edibles. I can't. I gotta be very careful with those special gummies. Yeah. But anyway, whether you guys are having gummies or not, watching scary movies, whatever your idea of a good time on a Friday night is, I hope you really enjoy it. And Dizzy and our idea of a good time is to go eat some food, so that's probably what we're gonna do. But thank you so much for being here with me. This has been a lot of fun. Seriously, I have not laughed that hard in a while, so thank you all. I love you guys. Have a great weekend, and I will see you again on Monday.